total BS. It was just not true. You can't believe half of what you hear, to be perfectly honest with you. And I was defending myself for that. Like, there's sellout and this and that. I'm like, this is utterly ridiculous. Can we not just accept that eBay may be? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. I am in the midst of Operation Clean It Out, Clear It Out, Sell It Off, Reorganize, and start over for Q4. So this has been quite a process. I'm super excited about it, and it's part of my plan. If you haven't been watching every video, you may not quite grasp it. I'll maybe go over a little bit of it today, but we've got some sales headed out of here, and that's what we want to do, all this stuff, and keep the eBay selling up going into, because let me tell you, this Q3 has been pretty darn good for us. The summer slowdown wasn't that bad, but I've got two other topics that I think are important I want to talk about today, and hopefully get your opinion of them as well. So take a look. And I got a couple of pups in here because I've been working in here as well as out there today. Let me go grab this very first thing at the get-go here so we don't get delayed. I got to meet my folks for dinner tonight. I am all alone right now. Where is this thing? That's not it. It was actually right in front of me the whole time. I did not see it. This is one new sealed Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This game goes for good money if you can find it sealed, which is not very often that you can find something like this sealed. But it did sell. It sold for $45 plus shipping. Let me give you a little bit of a preview here. I got to pull stuff today because, like I said, I'm in a hurry. But I'm going to talk about something that, strangely enough, over the years has become an unpopular thing to talk about. That is when eBay does things right. And I'm like, well, man, they must have done a lot of things wrong to tick off a lot of people for a long time for people not to appreciate the good things that have come out of it lately. But we're going to do it anyways because, honestly, I think there has been some very good changes. This harkens back to when, man, it's been a while now, almost 2 years, when I actually had the opportunity to have discussions with them. And I said some things that a lot of people didn't like. They called me a sellout and, you know, eBay. Well, I'm not going to say what they called me, but you'll get the point. And if you watch this channel a lot, you know I do criticize eBay quite a bit. But I think when they do things right, we should at least acknowledge that for sure. It's probably never going to be like the good old days, but let me tell you, I think there have been some good things that have happened lately. We're going to talk about some of those as well. I have not given you my July numbers, which is crazy to me. I was away on vacation when I should have done that and didn't do it. And I want to do that because that's part of this whole operation stuff that's going on right now, because I have to keep pushing eBay to get to that $150,000 mark on eBay at this point because of what we're doing on Dibdit, because of this restructuring that I'm trying to do, using that shed as an organizational shed in a much different way so I can use the List Easier thing in a much more productive way. That's what we're undergoing right now, and I have a 6-week deadline. It's actually under 6 weeks. By October 1st, I want to have this all completed and not see a slowdown in my eBay sales while this is all taking place, so that I can use this new system to ramp up right when Q4 starts and have hopefully the best Q4 we've ever had. My Q3 has so far been about as good, minus the COVID years, as I've ever done before. And these sales today, the sales kept coming in. Not huge high dollar sales, but lots of bread and butter stuff and a few really cool items. I mean, that's a pretty good video game one right there. And my family is gone. They went to the beach again. Not really. They went to go visit their aunt. So you won't see any kids or my wife in this particular video, but maybe you get the dogs. Let's go grab a few more things. If you have been watching, I have been talking about List Easier a little bit, and that's not really, I'm not trying to sell it, y'all. Trust me, there are some folks that, oh, look at this. Jess knows my wife is gone. She pulled, she pulled these things out and set them up here for me today because she knows I'm trying to do 6 things all day, and we've been selling live over on Dibdit all week as well. That was awesome. This is a vintage. This one I actually thought would go for more money. It probably could have if I would have waited a little longer, to be honest with you. Wool hat, made in the USA, diamond, $59.50, $33. It's got the old Chief Wahoo on it, which is really helpful. I probably could have put this out there at 40 and waited, but this is my very first List Easier sale. We listed 41 hats. I listed them all in one morning with coffee. I had a cup of coffee and listed them all. The pictures were already taken. That's the very first hat. Speaking of hats, hey, I'm going to give that away. That sold using that. But we have since not used it since those hats. I did 2 like test runs before it just to start to learn the process so I could answer all the questions that are coming in like wildfire. And I don't have all the answers, although I will say, if you can tolerate Death Pile Picker and that group over there, Dan in Demand, I did go on live with them. And on Thursday or Wednesday, let's see, this is Thursday. Yesterday it came out. You can go look at that. And I've got somebody over there who can answer your questions. I do want to point out one more thing really quick before I get too deep into this video, because so many people are signing up and doing this. I've got tons of great feedback. But I do want to mention something that a few people told me. Like, I signed up, but then it says you need business policies and they do calculated shipping and all that. It is something you need to think about. You may need to switch to that flat rate and make your policies and input that, because it is a requirement for using that. And that is something I've only said one other time, and I don't want people to go spend their money for something if they're not willing to make that change. So that's just a point of clarity really quick. But there you go. It's my very first sale. Using that, we've only done, let's see, 48 listings. And you might be like, well, why aren't you using it more? That's part of this operation. I could start doing that right now, but I decided I was going to restructure my business entirely, not entirely, so that the sorting process could be in place in that shed. Because when that product is its most productive is when you have like and similar items in bundles. And so I'm going to create bins to create those bundles to make the efficiency you gain from doing that multiplied. And that's why I'm doing it. Plus, it gives me an excuse to get rid of everything that was in that trailer, which is what we're doing right now. We're still listing things on eBay because I'm still buying. I'm talking a lot, y'all. I'm sure some of you are like, just show me what's sold. So that's what we'll do. But that's what we're undertaking. As you can tell, I'm excited about this process. I'm excited about this part of it as well. And I'm just excited. And Q4 is almost here. Plus, I absolutely love fall. Sold this Angels hat. This is the Disney era, Angels in the Outfield era as well. And I promise I won't talk about List Easier this whole time. But this was my second List Easier sale. And that one sold for $21, I think. And that link is always down there. Y'all can look at it. It's also a wool made in the USA hat. And don't forget to use code Commonwealth 30 bucks off that first month. And there's news still to come on this, but I'm just going to get to picking and talk about this other topic that I think is really key and also is exciting to me. So there you go. $50 some in sales, $56 in sales right off the bat. That makes me super excited. Plus shipping. Side note before we get into this, and this, like I said, to be the last time I talk about it for a little bit here. I see people signing up using my link and not using that you got to throw that Commonwealth in. You get 30 bucks off, y'all. I really want to at least save you that money. I think I'm the only one with that link, which is incredibly generous to these folks. Anyway, item not received, protections. This is the first thing on my list here. You know, I got a lot. I wanted to wait to talk about eBay Open for a while because I wanted to get the people home and get all the feedback, listen to the lives. I was hearing so much good stuff out of there. But a lot of times you're hearing the good stuff because the people that go to things like eBay Open are they're the people that want it to really work, and you get like a skewed opinion. And then I want to hear the other feedback. But I've been hearing almost nothing but good feedback lately. I've even been hearing people in Q3, like I just said, saying this is the best Q3 ever. I've also heard people saying I'm dying over here. This is the worst Q3 ever. I'm going to quit. So I'm not saying it's across the board. But just generally speaking, there is a good tone headed into Q4. Probably the most exciting tone I've heard in years. Last year wasn't too bad, just the kind of build up to it. 2 years ago was pretty bad, if you remember. But that's what we're going to get into today. Some of the big announcements coming out of there and the overall feel of the event, which I want to get into in regards to something I said 2 years ago that I took a lot of flack for, but I meant it then, and I think there's some justification again for it now. I sometimes buy things that will be slow sellers, and I do it on purpose, and it's usually part of a private pick or a buyout, where it's like, okay, I'm not going to pass this up because it's really not going to cost me any more, because you got 40 things there. It's like you throw one more in, is the price really going to change? This is an Optimus. I believe this is Radio Shack who made this, or it came from. Although I'm going to have to look over here. Yeah, Optimus CTR. It says Radio Shack on the listing. Yeah, there it is. Radio Shack. Anyway, this one, because it had the box, I'm like, yeah, we can get rid of this thing. It'll sell. You'd be like, why do people still want this stuff? I don't know, but they do. $26.95 for that one, plus shipping. I mentioned a few years back when I had a chance to talk to some of the bigwigs over there, and I thanked everybody at the time because I'm like, I'm just some guy in a shed in the backyard. And they were talking to a bunch of different people. There was controversy like Commonwealth Picker signed an INAD and whatever, which was total BS. It was just not true. You can't believe half of what you hear, to be perfectly honest with you. And I was defending myself for that, like sell out and this and that. I'm like, this is utterly ridiculous. Can we not just accept that eBay may be reaching out because they feel what all of us has felt for a while, that the sellers weren't as on board as they used to be? And they hit different little categories. And one of them happened to be kind of mom and pop folks like me, like most of you. And they're like, let's talk to that crazy dude in Virginia selling out of his shed. He's like an everything mom and pop collectible sellers. And we're kind of, that's what we started as. Can we get back to our roots kind of thing? And I'm like, they're always going to take care of their own bottom line. I always expect that out of any business. That's what me and you do as well. But at the same time, I felt like there needed to be that old school feeling. And I'm like, why would we not at least try this, right? And I had a great time doing it. I felt quite a bit of honesty and much more so openness than I thought I would see in that conversation and others. And I said that, there's transitional periods going on here, but there is a lot of good things. And what I said at the time was there are a lot of good people that I met that worked for them. High level, low level, mid level. They were good people and kind and smart people. And I said, this bodes well for the future. Not that everything's going to be rosy, because it isn't. It hasn't been. But this might be headed back in the direction that they're valuing their sellers more than they have. And people are going to say they're never going to value their sellers. They're always going to, it's never going to be perfect. I totally agree. And we'll always have complaints. But overall, the feeling that I wanted to get back, I feel like it's moved in that direction with some of these changes, but more importantly, with the feel of that event that I kind of regret not going to right now at this point. It's not really my cup of tea to do that stuff, but I kind of wish I would have gone, to be honest. If you follow my Facebook, these lazy dogs, you know I've been posting over there, and I'll post this one too. Whoa. I bought 100 of these, y'all. 100 of them. And I'm like, whew. And I spent a bunch of money on them. And I'm like, you know what? How many can we sell before Halloween? And we're selling them. We're down to 96 at this point, which is cool. I don't think we'll sell them all out by Halloween, but I don't know. I'll give you an update. This is number 96. 96. We had more than 100, but we'll just say that we had 100. So this is 4 gone. And these are going for good money. $46. Somebody asked me how much I paid for them. I paid $11 a piece, so not dirt cheap. $46.95 plus shipping on that one. So definitely good profit. I don't know what the profit on that would be. 30 some dollars? 30? Hold on a minute. No, it wouldn't be that much. So if I paid 11, let's figure it out. All right, these are very estimated numbers here really quick. So 47 came in, $46.95, $11 in costs. We'll say 7 in fees. It may be a little up, a little down, depending on where it's going. And the fees based on the shipping. The shipping we'll figure is a break even, although I'll probably make a few dollars on it. I have these listed pretty cheap for shipping though. So we'll lose on some, win on some. Roughly $2,900 in profit if I can sell them all. How long will it take? And it's taking up a ton of space in my basement right now, but it's something fun to track. At least I'll take $2,900 off of that one buy with one listing for sure, if I can get there. And I'm not sure I can. I might have to reduce prices at some point after the season is over. Who knows? But so what? So if I make $2,000 on one listing, I'll take that too. No mama in town, so all the animals coming here with me. I gotta find a Halloween costume. I keep them inside, but some of them I keep out here, so hold on a minute. This one is, oh man, it's been listed for over a year. Sold on 30% off. I bought it at the 301 sale down in North Carolina. And I remember this sale because I did not really want to buy it. But I saw the 45 and everything was expensive, and this one had like $3 on it. I'm like, yeah, I guess I can get it. And still wasn't the greatest buy in the world. Sold for 14 bucks, so It was originally listed for more than that, but it did not sell last Halloween. So, Ecto 1 inflatable costume. Pretty cool. Probably would have sold for more if I wouldn't put it on discount, but I'm glad it's gone and I made a little bit of money on it. A lot. I heard very, very little. You know, in years past, people, you know, they would make these changes where you got to add this, you got to do this, and it was a burden on the sellers and stuff. And I get that. That stuff happens. And it's going to continue to happen. We got plenty to complain about. But there was some really good news. I'll tell you what my favorite one was right here off the bat. I like this one the most of all the changes that they have made. And I tried to talk about this one, tried to get to it on the Trash to Cash podcast. I got to 2 of the things, but you know how those guys are. It's pretty hard to get to what you want to talk about. Anyway, seller item not received, INR protections. To me, this is the best one. It makes me really happy because this cost me money every cost me money throughout the year, but every Q4. A major pain point for our sellers happens when delivery delays lead into INR claims, item not received claims, and unexpected refunds where it's like you're trying to get them to hold off and wait because the post office is delayed and it's, you know, supposed to be there in 5 days, 4 days, whatever, 3 days. And it's taking 9, and they're like, where's my item at? And eventually, because you got to take care of customers, you're going to give that refund to them because it has not showed up. And you got to go talk to the post office, get it, you know, hopefully you can find the tracking, get it pushed out. And most time it works, but sometimes it doesn't. You end up eating it because that item eventually does arrive the majority of the time. So if a seller ships on time with eBay labels and tracked shipping, and tracking shows the item as delivered after the refund is issued, eBay will reimburse the seller for the item cost and remove any negative and neutral feedback left as a result of the delayed delivery. This ensures sellers aren't penalized for delays outside of their control, reinforces our commitment to standing behind sellers and who do the right thing. So that is a big step in the direction to say, hey, we've got to take care of our sellers better than we do. Because that's going to cost eBay money right there. Now, it may not cost them as much as just the pure dollars and cents because you're keeping your sellers happy, and maybe you won't lose as many sellers. The buyers have always been kept happy. And in this case, it looks like eBay will reimburse me, but after we have reimbursed that buyer, keeps both sides happy. And really, it puts a little pressure on the post office too. They need to do their job. So, you know, obviously everything can't be perfect over there, but sometimes there are bottlenecks and it gets really out of hand and it costs eBay sellers a lot of money, especially in particular areas. And you know who you are. It's like, man, everything I ship goes through this place and this place stinks. Whew, at least you're protected now. Way better than we were in the past. Naruto Uzumaki. I have no idea what this is. Honestly, I don't even know where I got it from. And it did not sell for a ton. $10.50 plus shipping. Y'all, there are 5 animals outside that door. And without my family around, boy, they want my attention. We only have 8 animals, for goodness sake, so I don't know where the other 3 are, but at least they're not out the door. I thought this one would sell for more. It's not vintage, though, which really hurt it, and I don't think there's a size, so I had to estimate, and it never sold, so we put it on 30% off this shell nylon jacket, and it sold for $16.07. I am still making money on it, but it was not a great buy. It waited around for quite a while. It's got a little hood right there, but, you know, in retrospect, I can see it, right? Who's going to want it? It's not vintage. Shell, somebody who works for Shell, I guess, probably bought it. $16.07 plus shipping. The next one, a lot of people are excited about. I think it's more of a placebo than anything else, and that's the automated feedback. Great transactions deserve recognition, and more feedback means more trust from future buyers, as well as greater visibility into seller excellence. But today, only about 1 in 3 buyers chooses to leave feedback. By the way, that other change we talked about is going in October. This one's going in September. When a seller in the U.S. used a tracked service, delivers on time, no issues are reported, eBay will automatically leave positive feedback for the seller if the buyer has not already done so. And should bump your resale. I think they've done this strategically. This is a good move by eBay because there are people out there who, if they don't have 100% feedback, they constantly call in and they're eating up essentially money trying to get that feedback removed and customer service, and they don't want to provide customer service because it's expensive and they don't make money off of that stuff. I get it. And a lot of people will call in and and I'm kind of like this too, right? It irks you. I've kind of gotten over that a little bit. It's like, okay, that should bump my feedback up. I should never be below like 99.5 ever if this system is implemented, because I sell so much stuff. I do think it also helps those big sellers that you see those lower feedback, and it probably makes them look a little better than they are. But whatever. Like I said, I think it's a placebo for us, which I'll take. It's not a negative, and a good decision on their part. Another disappointing jacket sale. But that's okay, because these have been listed a long time, going out on 30% off. When I list a jacket, I want to get like 25, 30, 50, 80, $100 for a jacket. This one had some issues with it, and no tag size on it for one. And it is made in the USA Swingster Winston Cup Racing Team, which would have been probably $25 jacket. But it has somebody's name on it, which is unfortunate. So we finally just let it go. $12 and, I don't know, 61 cents plus shipping. Next one is key for those of you who use the accrual method, which I do not use because it is very cruel. That's the truth. But I'm not going to get into that argument. People argue with me. I use the cash method. So much easier, y'all. Shout out my reseller, Genie, code Commonwealth. Sellers who buy inventory with resale in mind know that tracking item level costs is crucial for profitability. I actually don't agree with that. Knowing it and tracking it are two different things. I kind of understand. I get it. Depends on what you're doing. But which is why eBay is introducing an optional your cost field in the listing flow to input, update, and manage their cost with ease. Once an item has resulted in a sale, sellers can also input and update their cost for the earnings page. Helping on the bookkeeping side of it, and just people are curious to know what they made on stuff. I usually remember the stuff, and I use, like I said, the cash method. This is not a big deal to me. I will not be using it, but this was something that a lot of people, let me know if you wanted this out there and you're excited about this, your cost field. I know kind of end arounds that people have used for years, and of course they use it in their own bookkeeping, but if I buy 600 items for, $1,100 or something, I'm not putting an inventory level, I'm not putting a cost level on each of those items because of the way I structure the buys. But whatever. At the end of the day, if you make more money than you're spending, you're doing okay. But I understand this, and I think it's a good decision as well. A lot of people are happy about it. For me, it's not that big of a deal. I have made an executive decision. I'm not going to talk about my July numbers today. I'm going to put it on the next video. I'm way late on it, so what the heck. It'll be September before I talk about the July numbers, but we're going to do it, and then it'll be the August numbers right after that. See if we're going to if we're meeting pace for our $250,000 goal. And I think we should be, although we were down a little bit in July we were down a little bit because I left. V-neck, I picked these up, y'all. When I see these for $1, holy moly, I pick them up like crazy, or sometimes even more. This one wasn't the most amazing sale in the world. It was $13.27. But I guarantee you, I don't guarantee it, but I bet you I paid $1 for that. And I thought for sure it would go for closer to 20, but hey, I'll take it. Offers and messaging. This isn't a huge change, but it's a slight improvement, so definitely get a thumbs up for this one as well. Negotiating a great deal is the heart of eBay experience and key pillar behind our community enthusiasts. With offers in messaging, buyers and sellers can now negotiate offers directly within the messaging thread. That means sending, receiving, countering, and accepting offers without switching screens, all while tracking past offers and messages in one place. This is an improvement. Anything that you can save seconds and do it over and over again, make a sale is good. Available via eBay mobile app and web in the US. I've started to see what I would call the leveling off of some of the Vera Bradley. Some of them are still going for good money. I've been advocating for people to pay attention to them, even though some people have written them off. This one sold for $12 plus shipping, so not great. Mesa Red. But you know what? Still, if I find deals out there for $1, $2, $3 in great condition, I'm going to buy them, because some of them I'm finding them are going for over $20. And some of them far more than that if they got brand new with tags or if they have multiples. So I'm still a buyer on these, but I'm careful. Got to be in good shape, because this one's in good shape, good color, and only went for 12. But, $1 into 12, easy peasy, I'll take it. It's kind of like the same thing with Levi jeans. I'll pick them up for $1 all day long. Most of them anyways, even the bad ones. This is 30-32, it's a 514, not high level, but it was in good shape for $1. Fill a bag for $5 or whatever. I'll take it. That didn't go for much either. $12.57, but I'm gonna make close to $20 on these two things, and they're super easy to ship. So both of those were plus shipping. There's a lot of talk about this one. Again, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world, but it's definitely still a thumbs up. The AI messaging, or maybe I should call it the AI assistant messaging. So for many years, managing high volume of buyer messages while a sign of strong community interest can be a daily challenge, especially for questions whose answers can already be found in the item description. That's what gets you, right? Enter eBay's new AI assistant for messaging rolling out to users this week. Should be already seeing it, although at time of recording I haven't seen it yet. This opt-in tool drafts suggested replies to common buyers' questions. And, you know, I assume it scans your listing to see and then puts that in there. So some people are going to opt out of this. That's perfectly fine. I opted into it because I really wanted to see it in action so I could discuss it with you. That means no guesswork, no generic answers, just accurate, editable answers. That's what's key. Responses to help sellers save time without giving up control. So if they give you that suggestion, you can go in there and make it sound like a normal human being wrote it, I guess, or make sure it's right before you send it. It might save you a little bit of money, and if it's good over time, you'll trust it and save a little bit more. Did I say money? Save a little bit more time. Down to 29, the Firebirds. We had a ton of these, and they weren't the best sellers. There it is, Pontiac Firebird. 1057. Now these sold great for us. We made a killing off of these. I'm just saying that these weren't the fastest of the sellers, but we still have. I found these the other day, by the way. I kept a whole full set out. I might sell them all together. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But that one sold to a viewer, 1056, 1046. And it went to Kathleen. Hello, Kevin. Please ship to. Oh wait. Oh, maybe I shouldn't read this. They don't say that. Please ship to Scott and the address I provided. Thanks, Kathy. I have and will buy from your store again. That is very kind of you. I appreciate it. And thank you for adding that address in there. I appreciate that too. Y'all, you'll see this and I said, you'll say, didn't you sell all these? And I thought I did sell all these. But then I was looking through here the other day and I'm like, how come there's still a set? I must have put the wrong quantity on these. We had a bunch of them. These RC Cola cups. And we were selling tons. We did really well on that buy. $22 plus shipping on these RC Cola. I don't know how many lots we had, but there was a bunch, 20 or 15 or something like that. 22 plus shipping, which isn't amazing, but when you consider one listing times X, we made like $200-300 easily on one listing. So RC Cola cups, brand new. We are in the Mountain Man Treasure Bin. This was a buy at the little once a month sale over at a church in Lynchburg. And I bought tons of these, and I'm like, do I want to do this? But there were so many duplicates. And then this one wasn't, 701 and 702. So it's kind of like, all right, we got to still get it sold. And that little combo right there sold for $837 plus shipping. So we did make quite a bit of money on that, but it was a little tedious and a little bit slow for low dollar type sales. But, you know, every time you sell one, you make $5-6 and you got tons and tons of them. Still worth it. And almost all of them sold at full price. That one happened to be kind of the end of the road, and we put on 30% off to get the sale. So we made well over $100 on those, just on a couple of the listings of multi-quantity. So let me see. I think I've covered all of them. I'm going to double check really quick. Dogs are a little scared. Wallen's scared because he's the culprit. He was in there. He chewed on something he shouldn't have chewed on. I can't be everywhere, so he knows I'm not too happy with him right now. Inventory mapping API. That is something that's probably a big deal, but not for us kind of normal smaller time sellers. So I'm not going to mention it here, but this is, of course, it's a Vera Bradley cinch sack backpack, and this one sold for $19 plus shipping. Since Reagan's not here, I also have to thank Andrew for buying a Commonwealth Picker ball marker, Inaman ball marker. Hey, stop. Or if you're a poker player, you can set it on top of your poker cards. And thank you. That's over on dibditsports.com. If you're cheap and don't want to buy an Inaman to get your store moving, maybe you can get this and like set it on an item or something. I don't know. At any rate, thank you. This is $1 of this is going to Isaiah House on all of those. So we appreciate you, Andrew, for that. $5.99 plus shipping over there on dibditsports.com. If you want to, if you certainly don't have to, but we thought we'd do a little something fun for the golfers out there and the poker players out there, and do a little good with charity too. And Reagan's been helping me, but I got to do it because she is not here today. Also had a Bonanza sale. I also have an issue with Bonanza right now, which most of you don't care about. Maybe I'll talk about it on the next video. But this is a Cool Water. I used to wear that when I was younger. Davidoff, is that how you pronounce that? Cool Water. This is a watch. This one went for decent money, like 33 bucks, I think. Plus shipping over there on Bonanza. You know what? This reminds me, I've got to ship this to Bodega Cards over there. She won that on our Trash Cash 200th episode. So I got a reminder for that. Let's do this List Easier hat, y'all. They sent this to us to give away. So we're going to give this hat away. And I'd prefer if you just put List Easier in the comments if you are already a user over there. And go watch that video. I'm also still planning on doing it. I don't want people to jump in and do something that's not right for them. But man, there are so many people. I'm getting more questions about this than I've got on anything in a very long time. And we'll continue to do that, but I want to provide good, solid information so people make good decisions. But when you are ready, if you are ready, use that link, use code Commonwealth, 30 bucks off. But free giveaway, just put List Easier down below, and we will pull this in about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days, something like that. And somebody's going to get that free hat. So let me know what you think. Do you think that eBay is... Well, first of all, what do you think of these things? Let me know if anybody's I haven't heard anybody say this is dumb. I've heard people say I'm not using the AI assistant messenger. That's different than saying they shouldn't do it, right? You can opt out of it too. So I haven't heard any complaints. I also heard a lot of good feedback from people saying they had really good conversations with people. And they were open to listening. Like it seems like they weren't on the defensive. And there's some optimism over there. And I've seen a lot of optimism headed into Q4. A lot of, you know, some people are a little bit afraid of different things when I talk about, you know, AI and stuff. And I am too, y'all. Trust me. But I still think that what I've said for years now, those who stay in the game and make small adjustments over time it's going to pay off for them. And I'm starting to see it with some people. I'm getting lots of good feedback about lots of things. Still some of the negative stuff too, not negative in a bad way, just it's not working for me, and I feel for you folks out there too. So it's not all coming up roses for sure, but I think strides in the right direction. I even heard somebody who I respect a lot say it had a feel like the good old days of eBay at eBay Open and this partnership and whatever. And let's face it, it's never going to be that. And eBay's going to act in its own best interest. But I think at the same time, they're realizing sometimes acting in our own best interest is taking care of those sellers out there who are making money for us. And that's got to be a piece. And I did talk to a few employees almost 2 years ago now who specifically said that. It is in our best interest to remain the eBay that eBay started and to take care of those sellers, you know, and selling this type of stuff as opposed to becoming Amazon and competing with them. eBay should be eBay. And I think they've learned that lesson a little bit, maybe. Anyway, tell me what y'all think below. This is just giving my honest opinion, but you guys have been great. And my mom's going to feed me dinner tonight, so I got to get the heck out of here and then get back to ship and then film a podcast and so much stuff. You guys are awesome to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't wait to see you next time.